The Amazon doesn't just breathe, it watches. They say the rainforest is the lungs of the earth, but that's the lie people are comfortable with. It makes the place sound passive, peaceful, alive in a harmless way. But the deeper you go, the more it feels like something else entirely. Something ancient, something aware. Daniel Reyes wasn't supposed to be there. He was a documentary filmmaker, the kind who chased stories no one else wanted to touch. Lost tribes, abandoned cities, war zones that never made headlines, those were his specialty. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared him for what he would uncover in the Amazon. It started with a rumor. A blurred satellite image, a patch of forest where the canopy looked wrong. Too symmetrical, too deliberate, and beneath it, faint heat signatures, like structures hidden under layers of green. Most people dismissed it as a glitch. But Daniel didn't. He arrived in Brazil with a small crew. Lucas, his cameraman, quiet but sharp-eyed. Maria, a local guide who knew the jungle better than anyone he'd met. And Ethan, a sound engineer who joked too much when he was nervous. From the moment they entered the forest, something felt off. The air was thick, not just humid, but heavy, like it carried a weight you couldn't see. The sounds were wrong too. No birds in the morning. No insects buzzing at night. Just silence. Animals don't stay quiet without a reason, Maria said one evening, her voice low as she stared into the trees. What kind of reason? Daniel asked. She didn't answer. Days passed as they pushed deeper into the jungle. Their GPS began malfunctioning, spinning in circles. Compasses lost direction. Even the sun seemed harder to track beneath the dense canopy. And then they found it. A clearing, perfectly circular. The trees around it bent outward, like they were trying to escape. In the center stood a structure, stone, ancient, covered in vines, but unmistakably man-made. Lucas raised the camera, whispering, this shouldn't be here. Maria froze. No tribe builds like this, she said. Not here, not ever. The structure was carved with symbols, patterns that twisted and looped in ways that made your eyes hurt if you stared too long. They didn't look like any known language. They looked wrong, as if they weren't meant for human minds. Daniel stepped closer. The air changed instantly, colder, stiller, and then he heard it. A whisper, not outside, inside his head. He staggered back, grabbing his temples. Did you hear that? He gasped. Hear what? Ethan asked. But Lucas wasn't speaking. He was staring at the structure, unmoving, his camera still rolling. Lucas, Daniel called. No response. They approached him slowly. His face had gone pale, eyes wide, unblinking. What do you see? Maria asked. Lucas finally spoke. It's not a building, he said quietly. It's a door. That night, they camped far from the clearing. No one slept. The whispers had started for all of them now. Soft at first, like wind through leaves. But there was no wind. Then clearer. Words, almost, but in no language they understood. Ethan snapped first. This is insane, he muttered, pacing. We need to leave. Tomorrow. First light. No, Daniel said. Everyone turned to him. We came for answers, he continued. We're not leaving without them. Maria's expression hardened. Some things are not meant to be answered, she said. But Daniel didn't listen. The next day, they returned to the structure. This time, it was different. The vines that covered it before were gone, as if they'd been pulled away overnight. The entrance, if it was an entrance, now stood open. A dark passage leading underground. No one remembered it being open before. Did we miss that? Ethan whispered. No, Maria said. It wasn't open. Daniel felt the pull immediately, like gravity had shifted, drawing him toward the darkness. We're going in, he said. No, Maria snapped. I'm not going down there. But Lucas was already moving. Camera in hand, silent, expression blank. Lucas, Daniel shouted, but he didn't stop. One by one, they followed. The air inside was cold, dry, dead. The walls were smooth stone, carved with the same twisting symbols. The deeper they went, the stronger the whispers became. Until they weren't whispers anymore. They were voices, hundreds of them, overlapping, speaking directly into their minds. Images flashed behind Daniel's eyes, cities swallowed by jungle, people running, shadows moving in impossible ways. And something else, Something watching. They reached a chamber. Huge. Circular. At its center stood a massive stone pillar, covered in the same symbols, but these were glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Lucas approached it slowly. No, Maria said, backing away. No, no, no. But Lucas touched the pillar. And everything changed. The ground shook. The symbols flared bright, blinding. The voices screamed. Daniel fell to his knees, clutching his head as visions flooded his mind. He saw the past, not history as they knew it, but something older. A civilization that existed before recorded time, advanced in ways that defied understanding. They had built this place, not as a temple, not as a monument, but as a prison, and what they imprisoned was not human. The jungle hadn't grown over the structure. It had grown to contain it. Daniel gasped as the vision shifted. He saw explorers, like them, finding the place, entering, awakening it. None of them left. Stop him, Maria screamed. Daniel looked up. Lucas was still touching the pillar, but his body was changing. His skin darkened, veins glowing with the same symbols. His eyes, no longer human, turned toward them. It's awake, he said. But it wasn't Lucas speaking. The voice was layered, deep, ancient. We waited. Ethan ran. He didn't get far. The shadows in the chamber moved, stretching, twisting, and then they took him. Just gone. Daniel grabbed Maria. We have to go, he shouted. But the exit was gone. The tunnel they came through had sealed itself. The chamber pulsed, alive. Lucas, or whatever he had become, stepped forward. You opened the door, it said. Now you stay. Maria pulled out a knife, her hands shaking. We're not staying, she said. The thing smiled. A slow, unnatural movement. You never had a choice. The jungle above them was silent. Completely still, as if it knew. Days later, a rescue team would arrive, sent when Daniel's crew failed to check in. They would find the clearing. They would find the structure. Closed, silent, untouched. No sign of an entrance. No sign of the crew. Only one thing left behind. A camera, still recording. The footage showed the team entering the structure. The descent. The chamber. And then, static. Except it wasn't static. Frame by frame, something moved within it. Shapes, shadows, watching, waiting. And at the very end of the recording, just before it cut out completely, a voice, whispering, you opened it too. The Amazon still breathes. But now you know, it's not just air it's taking in. It's listening. And sometimes, it answers.